All right, here we go. It's time for another 5 minutes. This time, joining me, the Iceman, Mike Perkins, is here with us. We know him from the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League. Iceman, good to see you.
Good to see you, Eric. How you handling everything?
Hanging in there, doing this little show here. Try to get people some airtime, of course, right? Talk about some
I
stuff
love it.
that's
I'm
near and dear
excited
to
to be a
us.
part of it today.
Well, I'm glad you could be here. So, what are we going to talk about today in 5 minutes?
Yep, NHL. What's happening in NHL right now? What's going on? What's going to look like maybe in the future? Right now we're paused. So as of what was it, March 12th, the season was paused by the Commissioner Gary Bettman, and all players are self-quarantined at this point,
Yeah.
and they're supposed to be quarantined until the end of the month. So what that means for players in their training moving forward, I know lots of guys are training at home in their home gyms or wherever they're shacked up. But I keep seeing a lot of videos with players lifting weights and going on runs and doing whatever they can to try to keep themselves in shape. But of course, the tough part is it's not skating shape. They'll have to
Yep.
spend some time, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But I think at some phase they'll have to have a mini training camp to get teams back in shape.
All right. Well, how are we going to restart the NHL? Let's talk about it. 5 minutes up on the clock. Here we go. I think for this season, I was looking at the standings and trying to figure out what's the shortest possible way to get back. And like you say, a mini training camp of some sort. It looks to me that most teams are in the 68 to 71 games played range.
Yep.
From a more specific standpoint, I say
There are about 10 to 12 games left.
yeah, let everybody get to that 71 game mark. So if you haven't gotten there yet, play the games. I would say at this point, only teams that may have a shot at the playoffs. So the way we're looking at it right now in the Eastern Conference, there's 3 teams on the outside looking in who are 3 or less points out of a playoff spot. Let them play each other. Get to 71 games, do a little round robin after the training camp you talked about. In the Western Conference, there's really only one team on the outside looking in, that's Nashville. Only 4 teams in the league have played 71 games. They're all in the Western Conference. You could have them 4 play just to, get a little rhythm going before they have to play in the playoffs. Let everybody else get to 71, and then we go to a playoff system that I'd imagine would be shortened, maybe 5-game series for the first couple rounds and then 7 for the last 2. I think that would be kind of a cool way to do it and kind of shorten it together. We know that next year's probably going to start late anyway.
So kind of the scenario that I've heard and the process would be is that July potentially would be a training camp month. And then into September at some point, they would either finish games for the remainder of the season, whether it was shortened or I'm not sure exactly how that looks, but then at least at the end of September and part of October would be playoffs in shortened version. And I don't know if that means 3-game series, 5-game series, and then maybe wait to play a 7-game series uh, uh, in the league finals and then in the Stanley Cup final, which could be potential situation. And then from there, go right into the 2021 season right after that. And that seems to be a common theme that I hear from lots of different people, whether it was TSN or straight off the NHL website and some of the news that they're having there. But probably one of the most interesting things is Brad Marchand just came out with a little opinion, of all people to have an opinion.
Weird, right?
Yeah. He thought that it was going to be the younger teams that would have a lot of success, which is probably a whole nother conversation for us. But I just thought I'd add that in there because it was a kind of a perspective that I think he's probably pretty close to being right. So he was thinking that Toronto and Tampa would probably have an added benefit because of their youth, whereas Boston was in a bit of a trouble considering Zdeno Chara just turned 43 the other couple weeks ago. Was it March?
I thought he was 67. All right.
Yeah.
43. We'll go with that.
So yeah, I think that there's been a lot of scenarios thrown around. The great news is that Gary Bettman just keeps saying that there will be a finish to the season. There will be a playoff. He keeps believing in that. And that, for us hockey fans, that's great news. We do want to see a conclusion to last season. There was a lot of great hockey, and for that to be all for naught, I think would be very difficult, not only for us as fans, but for the players and the franchises themselves.
So we're down to our final minute and a half here. So is that what you would like to see? I know that's what you're hearing, but is that something that you would like to see?
What I would really like to see is July training camp, September shortened playoff season with some extra, no finish of the season, straight into playoffs. Add a few extra teams into the playoffs. Teams
Mm.
that are all the way out of it, they're done. Teams that are close to it, find a way that they can still be in, whether it's a play-in games or however that might look, so that everybody's on pace and on par with getting into playoffs at the same time. Because, like you said, there were some teams at 70 games. There were some teams with 12 games left, some with 10 left.
Hmm.
So somewhere in that ballpark. So for me personally, I like to see them jump right into the playoff scenario, and then they could finish out playoffs September into October, take maybe a week break, and then we start the 2021 season in November.
So real quick, that means then no California teams in the playoffs.
No, they don't have. I don't think they really have a chance, anyways. But obviously a tough season for all three. For us
Yep.
here in Orange County, and as Ducks fans, we're excited about the youth of that group and the potential of what their future looks like. I think maybe Getzloff closing in on the end of his career, but I think for the young guns that we see on a pretty regular basis here at the Honda Center, exciting times for the Ducks for their future.
Look at that. You came in right under the wire, right at 5 minutes.
Not too shabby.
I was scared because you are the Iceman, and when we talk hockey, I didn't think I'd be able to hold you to the timeline, but somehow it worked out.
Well, you want to keep going?
We might have to say that for another episode. We'll
Uh,
book you.
you tell me when.
I'll talk to your people. Have them talk to my people.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Iceman.
Thank you.